Hi, I'm Dr. Hillary with Cultivate Fertility. I'm going to show you today how to make bone broth. Bone broth is one of our fertility superfoods. We sort of want you to have it in your life all the time. I use it with my fertility detox. I use it as a base if I'm making grains, using it instead of water. It's a very mineralized liquid that basically we're going to extract and pull out minerals from the bones, magnesium, potassium from the vegetables, and we get gelatin and the cartilage, the collagen from the bones all comes out. So it's very nutrient dense. It's one of the most nutrient dense foods that you can eat, which is why it's one of our superfoods. When Kara and I were studying Chinese medicine way back in the day, our Chinese professors always told us that we needed to have bone broth with us, and we were always sort of confused. Of course, they like to use the chicken head and the chicken feet. I'm not making the chicken head version today, but I'm going to show you an easy way to make it so that you can always sort of have it going on your stove. You can drink it, bring it to work. You can drink it when you're feeling a little hungry, or if you need a pick-me-up. It's great if you need an afternoon snack. Really can help revitalize you. So there's two different ways you can do it. You can, one, collect bones as you're going. Like if you've had a whole chicken and you want to save your bones, you can put them in a plastic bag, put them in the freezer until you have a lot of bones. Or you can just get some whole parts from the store. So this is organic chicken, because we want you to use organic chicken. I always give it a little bit of a rinse because it's a little slimy. So I like to rinse it. And so what I use the wings because the more bone we have, the more minerals and nutrients there are in the bones. So I just got 8 whole wings. You can also use a whole chicken. You really can't mess it up. But so this has meat on it, but if you've already eaten the chicken and you just use bones, that will work too for your bone broth. So the first thing I do is I use a great big stock pot. You can also make this in a slow cooker or an Instapot, so you can play with that. But I use a great big stock pot. I put a little bit of oil in the bottom just so nothing sticks. And then I throw my bones in. Super easy. And then I just kind of put that under fire. I like to brown my bones. So the browning of the bones helps to release a lot of the nutrients and the minerals. What we're going to do is we're going to slow cook this thing. What makes bone broth the most nutritive is by bringing out a lot of the gelatin. The gelatin from the bones and the collagen. It's that gelatin that makes things really gooey. It works in your digestive tract to help your immune system. It actually helps the endothelial lining in your digestive tract so that you're less reactive or inflamed to foods that you're eating. And it also works with your reproductive organs. So we want your fallopian tubes to be lined really well. We want your ovaries to be nice and juicy. So gelatin actually works in that way. So this will bring out a lot more of the nutrients when you just brown it. We'll do that over time. And then you can't mess this up. So you basically just take, you're going to hear me say it over and over again, like an organic onion, and you can just cut it super thick and easy. Throw it in. You can throw in the skins and all. Everything has been rinsed, so I'll just sort of show you before. Celery is an amazing food to add. One, because it adds natural salt to it, and also it's got a lot of, like I said, natural sodium and some other minerals that go in. I throw in a carrot. Some people use carrots, some don't. I like to use a little carrot. Some people think that it's a little too sweet, but I like the vitamin A and the beta carotene that we get. And then this can also work, you can just throw whatever you have in your kitchen. Whatever vegetables are ready to die, in a sense, you can throw them in. So this, I like throwing in purple cabbage. So purple cabbage is gonna make it a little bit red color, but that's no big deal. Or green cabbage, any kind of cabbage. This is in the Brassiaceae family. It's really rich in minerals and nutrients, folate, vitamin C. So the more kind of different minerals we have, the heartier and healthier our broth will be. I usually do a full clove of garlic. You can even throw the whole garlic in itself. This is a shallot, but if it was garlic, you could just throw the whole head of garlic in. So it's pretty easy. You get to just, I'm like the Swedish chef from the Muppets. You just throw stuff in and you can't really mess it up. It smells delicious. And so I just like to brown things to caramelize them a little bit, bring out the flavor. And so I'm gonna leave this on the pot for a little bit. Okay, so when we're making bone broth, one of the really important things I want you to do is to use filtered water. You'll see we talk about the importance of using healthy, fresh, filtered water. But if you're making a stock that you use as the foundation for your healthy eating, and it's a superfood, then please use filtered water when you're doing it. So I do not salt my broth. I would never drink bone broth that's unsalted. But what I do is I cook the broth, I unsalt it, and then I salt it at the end and season it at the end for if I want something really salty, or if I don't, or if I'm using it as a base for my cooking, I tend to not salt it, and I salt the actual food. So it just kind of makes it more flexible. So this is water that is fresh filtered water. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going a little faster, but you can see that there's just a big, delicious pot of vegetables. And I would even cook it like this on the stovetop for about 10 or 15 minutes to brown everything. And after that time, you cover. One really important thing I didn't do yet. So you want to add a little bit of vinegar. So adding a little bit of acid to the meat helps extract the minerals from the bones. So you really can't do it wrong. A couple tablespoons is enough. I try to make it easy. I don't like to measure a lot of things out. You really can't mess it up. But you want to add a little bit of acid. If you didn't have vinegar, you could use lemon juice as well to help pull minerals. So the acid is just that important factor to help gelatin and mineral extraction. After that's all been added, we just throw in enough water that it covers the soup, covers all the bones. And the sort of secret to making your really nutrient-dense bone broth is the length of time for cooking. So if you were just making a quick chicken soup in your kitchen, for a dinner, family dinner, you could do this for 45 minutes and it would taste delicious. But when you're making your fertility superfood, your detox power food, you want to cook this on the stove for 6 to 24 hours. That is what really kind of makes that thick, nutrient-dense broth. So for some people, they don't want to leave their stove going for that long, and that's when it's great. At this point, you can transfer it to a slow cooker, and you can just put it on low and cook it for a 12 to 24-hour cycle. Or you can leave it on the pot for the day, or you can put it even into an Instapot if you use an Instapot. So those are some different options. What you do is you just bring it to a quick boil. Once it's boiled, you bring it down to simmer, cover, so that the water doesn't evaporate. And eventually, over the cooking cycle, you might want to add some extra water as it's going if it starts to really cook down. You want to have it on the lowest setting possible. And right at the very end, you want to add some fresh herbs to it. So I love using parsley. You can add dill. You can add some thyme. The fresh herbs help to like add a pop of nutrients. So potassium, magnesium, folic acid gets infused right at the end. And after the soup is cooked for 6 to 24 hours, however long you want, and it's very dense, you'll see that the bones are almost all broken up because that's how we're extracting. The minerals are being extracted. What you do is you just get a fine strainer, and I've made this mistake before. You want to have a bowl underneath your strainer because if not, it goes out the drain. And then you pour the soup on. You're really like smashing the bones and all the vegetables in, and out comes your really nutrient dense broth to use as the base for everything. Fertility Superfood. Thanks.